Coronation Street fans are reeling after a massive theory emerged about Carl Webster's true identity. Following the sudden death of Elaine, viewers believe a much darker family secret is about to surface. The tension between Kevin and Carl has reached a breaking point, but the real shocker lies with Debbie. Is she actually his mother? This twist would change the Webster family forever, turning siblings into mother and son just as a tragic accident loom over the cobbles. If you find this theory as mind-blowing as I do, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for all the latest updates and deep dives into your favourite soap. The atmosphere on the street has been heavy lately, especially with the Websters facing one blow after another. We all saw how Kevin reacted when he realised Carl was back in the picture. The betrayal of Carl being with Abby is something Kevin just cannot get past, and who can blame him? But while that drama was front and centre, a much more subtle and heartbreaking storyline was unfolding with the news of Elaine's passing. Carl was absolutely devastated to find out she had died from cancer, without him ever knowing she was even sick. He felt shut out and unloved, which has been a recurring theme for his character. He always felt like Elaine treated him like an outsider, or someone she just didn't want around. When Debbie claimed she had no idea Elaine was ill either, most of us took it at face value, but then we saw that she actually did know. She had received a message and chose not to pass it on. She blamed her early onset dementia for the lapse, but the viewers are way ahead of her on this one. People are starting to piece together the timeline of when Carl was born, and it is starting to look very suspicious. Back in the 80s, the family moved to Germany, and that is where Carl arrived. Debbie would have been about 18 at the time. It was a different era, and the theory that she had a child and her father and stepmother raised him as their own to avoid a scandal is a classic soap trope that fits perfectly here. If this theory is true, it explains so much about the dynamic between them. It explains why Elaine was so cold and belittling toward Carl all those years. If she was raising a child that was not hers, especially under pressure, that resentment would have built up over decades. It also explains why Debbie has always been so protective and lenient with Carl, even when he has done terrible things. Think about it. He has been involved in affairs, car thefts, and all sorts of shady business, yet Debbie always seems to find a way to forgive him or help him out. That is a mother's instinct, not just a sister. But the tragedy of this reveal is that it comes just as Debbie's health is failing. She is dealing with vascular dementia, and we have seen her go from a sharp, powerful businesswoman to someone who is struggling to remember the simplest things. Carl, being the opportunist that he is, has been using her condition against her. He is trying to gaslight her into thinking she is worse than she is, just so he can get his hands on the hotel and pay off his own debts. It is a cruel move, especially if she really is his biological mother. Imagine the guilt he will feel if he finds out the truth after he has spent months making her life a misery. While the Webster family is falling apart, we also have the massive Christmas Day drama heading our way with Eva Price and Maggie. This feud has been building for a long time, and it looks like it is finally going to explode over the dinner table. Eva has been carrying the weight of a secret termination, something she only felt comfortable telling Adam Barlow. She even wrote her feelings down in a letter as a way to cope, but in true soap fashion, that letter ended up in the wrong hands. Maggie is not the type to let a secret like that go to waste. She has been waiting for the moment to cause the most pain possible. Catherine Tildeley has mentioned in interviews that this Christmas is going to be anything but merry for Eva. Maggie is going to wait until everyone is gathered at the Rovers for dinner before she drops the bombshell. The fallout is going to be massive, especially for Ben, who is caught right in the middle of the two women he loves most. The fact that someone is found unconscious in the ginnel later that night just adds to the mystery. It shows how high the stakes are when family secrets are weaponized. Eva just wanted a perfect day, but Maggie is determined to tear her down once and for all. Back to Debbie. There is a bit of light in the darkness with her upcoming wedding to Ronnie Bailey. Fans have been rooting for them because Ronnie seems to truly care for her, especially now that she is facing such a difficult diagnosis. Even Belle Dingle from Emmerdale has had a hand in helping organise the big day. It is supposed to be a beautiful celebration of their love, and Debbie is even starting a dementia choir to make the most of the time she has left. It is a really touching part of the story that shows her strength. She wants her brothers to reconcile and for the family to be whole again before her memory fades completely. But the peace is not likely to last long. Kevin and Carl are barely able to stay in the same room, let alone celebrate a wedding. When Tyrone shows up at the ceremony, the tension between the brothers boils over again. Kevin is protective of Tyrone, especially after the hit-and-run incident that left Tyrone in a wheelchair. Seeing Carl try to act like part of the family after everything he has done is just too much for Kevin to handle. It is going to be a very awkward wedding photo, that is for sure. The biggest twist of all, however, is the massive crossover event between Coronation Street and Emmerdale. This is something we have not seen on this scale before. A horrific car crash is going to involve major characters from both shows, including Debbie and Carl. The trailers have been intense, showing Kevin and Abby searching through burning wreckage. It is a terrifying situation, and it feels like this might be the end of the road for some characters. We know Debbie's story has a tragic trajectory because of her illness, but seeing her caught up in a disaster like this is heart-wrenching. The showrunners have teased that this event will change everything for both shows. For the Websters, it is a moment of reckoning. If Debbie is in a life-threatening situation, will she finally tell Carl the truth about his parentage? Or will her dementia cause the secret to spill out in a moment of confusion? Either way, the truth is coming, and it is going to leave the family shattered. Kevin would find out that the man he hates, the man who slept with his wife, is actually his nephew. It is the kind of revelation that ruins lives. As we move toward the end of the year, the tension on the cobbles is at an all-time high. We have the emotional weight of a terminal illness, the betrayal of a brother, the potential for a secret child reveal, and a massive physical catastrophe all happening at once. It is a lot for any family to survive. The writers are really pushing the boundaries of how much drama one family can take. We are all waiting to see if Debbie gets her dream wedding, or if the crash takes everything away from her before she can say I do. The idea of Carl being Debbie's son really adds a layer of complexity to their relationship that makes the gaslighting storyline even more uncomfortable to watch. It makes Carl look like a monster, but it also makes Debbie's struggle even more poignant. She is losing her mind, and her son is the one making it happen, all while she probably carries the secret that she gave birth to him and gave him up. It is a classic soap opera tragedy. Keep an eye on those upcoming episodes because every conversation and every memory lapse could be a clue. The Websters have been the heart of the show for decades, and seeing them at the center of such a groundbreaking crossover is going to be television history. Whether Carl finds out the truth or whether the crash claims a life, things will never be the same again in Weatherfield. We are strapped in for a wild ride this festive season, and I have a feeling there are still more surprises waiting for us that we haven't even dreamed of yet. The crossover is just the beginning of what looks like a very dark and dramatic winter for everyone on the street.